Hey, what's up, everyone? You're here with Goran and Kirk as my new partner in making these videos. Uh, we will be going through some of the games for Saturday. I believe we have 15 games scheduled here, Kirk. Lots of exciting games in the EPL, some title winning games potentially in the EPL as well. Apart from that, it's gonna be another interesting day with a lot of free picks. And even though there's less games to talk about, guys, this is basically double the amount of free picks for you because each of us has a pick of our own. And of course, that means double the parlay of the day as well. I have one, Kirk has one, but let me give Kirk here on the microphone. Tell us something about yourself, just a bit, and let's get this show on the road afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the introduction, Goran. So, I'm a huge soccer guy. I was actually born in Munich, Germany, and I lived there till I was 7. So, I bring soccer expertise to the plate and love all 5 European leagues. So, let's get this show on the road.
Absolutely, glad to hear that. Very happy to have you here. Well, let's call you half European. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so like I said, guys, we have 15 games to talk about here. Two parlay of the days at the end of the video. And as usual, you can find more free picks up on the PickDawgz YouTube channel. You just gotta go there, check it out. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. And of course, you can get our best bets up on the PickDawgz website. There's a link in the description of this video for both of us. So simply click it and get up there and sign up for one of those passes that we have going on, whether you want a 3 day, 7 day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. So let's get this show on the road, Kirk. As we usually do, we are going to kick it off with the EPL. We have, I believe, 5 games on the schedule.
Yep.
And the first one is between Arsenal and Bournemouth. So, what are your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, this one, Arsenal's really only playing for the Premier League at this point. So, I expect them to put out their best lineup, and they beat Bournemouth 4-0 earlier in the year. So, I expect them to come out flying at the Emirates. So, I actually have them to be up after 20 minutes at plus 150. They did this last time in Bournemouth, so I expect them to maybe even go up 2, but I'm going to take them up 1 after 20 minutes here. Over to you, Goran.
Absolutely. You know what? They are playing for the EPL title. They are ahead right now. They need to keep winning because City has, I believe, 2 games in hand. So that is a bit of a problem for them. But they are on a 3 game winning streak once again. They're scoring a lot of goals. We know that they destroyed Chelsea the other week, 5-0, was it, or something like that? They have
Yeah.
beaten Tottenham as well. And I'm going to go with a similar pick as yours. I'm going to take Arsenal -1 in the first half, which is plus 127. That's the Asian handicap line for the first half, which basically means if they are up by a goal at halftime, you get a push. If they are up by 2 or more, you are getting nice plus 127 winner. And like Kirk said, they are scoring fairly early in pretty much all of their games, and he has Arsenal to be ahead at the 20th minute at plus 150, which is absolutely outstanding price. So I think we have two winners here in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
For our next pick, Kirk, we have Brentford and Fulham game. That one should be fairly interesting as well. We have two teams of, I would say, fairly similar quality, and form-wise, they are pretty decent right now. So do you think we expect some goals in this one?
Oh, I'm expecting a banger of a game here. 3 of their last 4 games ended at 3-2. One was 3-0, but both these teams are high flying. I expect a lot of goals here, so I'm actually going to go off history here, and I assume that both teams will score and over 2.5 goals will hit. Over 2.5 goals has hit in their last 5 meetings, and 3 of the 4 games where both teams have scored. So this trend should continue here in this game, I'd say.
Yeah, not only we see a lot of goals in this matchup, we have seen at least 5 goals in 3 of those 5 games that have gone over 2.5 as well. So both teams to score in over 2.5. I got it at -118. You have it at -133. That's a slight difference in the books. So do your shopping around, guys. But we definitely agree about this one. It should be a banger of a game, and both teams to score in over 2.5 is more than likely to hit than not. So let's move on to the next one. Kirk, Burnley and Newcastle. Burnley has actually woken up as they approach the end of the season, and now they've given themselves a chance to stay in the EPL if they can keep winning some points over the over the next few weeks. But you know what? Newcastle is not a joke right now.
Yeah, I just can't trust Burnley in this spot, to be honest. I like Newcastle here. They have a really good price at minus 105. They're still fighting for Europe spot next year. So I know Burnley's fighting, but there's just a massive quality difference, I'd say, here. So here I'm going to take Newcastle at minus 105 to win. They're also coming off a 5-1 win against Sheffield. I know it's Sheffield, but they're scoring right now, and this should continue, and I see them winning today.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, Newcastle is not a joke right now. They have lost only one of their last six, won four of those six games, and like you said, they're coming off of a 5-1 win. I'm just scared that after such a massive win, there could be some disappointment on their part, especially because they'll still have a ton of injuries. I see like 10 or 11 players on that injury list, which is basically another starting lineup for them. While on the other side, Burnley, they are fighting for their lives in the EPL, and they have lost also only one of their last six. So it could go either way, if you ask me. It could be a coin flip game, which is why I'm going to avoid the sides in this one. And I'm going to go with Burnley over 4.5 shots on target at minus 118. We know that they have to go for the win. We know that they are capable of scoring. So should be another fun game here in the EPL.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, for the next game, we have Sheffield, who are basically relegated already. There's no hope for them. While Nottingham Forest on the other side is pretty much in the same boat as Burnley is. However, their form is much, much worse.
Yeah, no, I actually love this game. And here's, I'd say, one of my higher value picks of the day. Here, as you said, Sheffield's going to get relegated, but they have been scoring somewhat. They put it two against Man U the other week. They allow 97 goals, though, this year. That's insane. That's almost 3 goals a game. Here, I'm actually going to back both teams to score. And Nottingham is in the same place as Burnley. They need a win here. So I'm going to go Nottingham to win and both teams to score at a plus 190 price.
Yeah, you know what? You said it. Sheffield United has been doing one thing pretty well in the second half of the season, and that is scoring goals. However, their defense is so bad that you simply cannot concede 97 goals in the EPL and expect to stay in the league. It just doesn't work that way. And I do agree with both teams to score. I have it as well. I will take both teams to score in over 2.5, but I definitely love your pick. Nottingham Forest just above the relegation zone right now, but they have the same number of points as Luton Town has below them. And they need to break their negative streak they are on, and they need a win here desperately.
Yeah, definitely. They do.
The last game of the day in the EPL, Kirk, is between Manchester City and Wolverhampton, who have been slowly waking up after struggling with all those injuries they had, but they're facing City on the road, who is fighting for the title.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy City win here. I don't think Wolves are going to score in this game. City has held a clean sheet in their last 3 games, and Wolves they just don't score too much, and I don't expect them to score here. So I'm just going to go with the conservative pick here at minus 150 before both teams to score. No, I think City will definitely keep the clean sheet here. Over to you.
Yeah, you know what? City is the only home team that's still undefeated this season in the EPL, and they've conceded only 14 goals in 17 games at home. So they are definitely a very, very solid defensive team when playing at home. But Wolverhampton, on the other side of the road, has scored 23 goals in 17 games, which is not bad at all. And like I said, they're slowly waking up. They did get Hwang back. Is that his name? That Korean striker
Yeah.
they have, and I think he scored a goal last week. Uh, I don't necessarily expect Wolverhampton to get to the score sheet here, but I think that they're capable of creating a few chances. They're a very quick team, and Manchester City actually struggled with them in the reverse fixture. They lost 2-1 on the road. So for my pick here, I'm taking Wolverhampton over 2.5 shots on target at minus 105, which is very, very low line in my opinion for a very good price.
Yeah, I like it. I like that pick.
Now we are off to La Liga, Kirk, where we have a couple of games, actually three games to talk about. And the first one is between the Real Madrid and Cadiz. We know that Real Madrid is coming off of a Champions League game against Bayern Munich. And this game, I don't say it's meaningless, but it doesn't mean much to Real Madrid right now.
Yeah, I mean, this game I think is, as you said, it's basically meaningless from Real Madrid. They play the second leg against Bayern on Wednesday. Last week they played Villarreal or Real Sociedad, sorry, and they played the whole B team here, and they had a lot of trouble. I mean, Arda Güler scored, but that was kind of off a broken play. So here I don't really see this being a high scoring affair. I could even see a 0-0 draw here as Cadiz is just not really good. They've scored 23 goals all season. So I'm actually going to back both teams to score no here at a minus 126 price.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet at all. And I'm kind of guiding myself with the fact that the Champions League game that they are coming on, it's much, much more important to them than this one. Bayern is not a bad team at all, and it's going to be a hard one for Real Madrid. Once again, I do expect them to put out, let's call it a B lineup here, put in some of those players that are not playing a lot. And I think that Joselu up front is going to be one of those players. So I decided to back him as a goal scorer in this game. We're getting him at minus 110 for Real Madrid. Whether they score one or three goals, I don't really care as long as he's on the score sheet. And this is the type of a game where I think it's going to be a very scrappy game, but I think he thrives in those games. So I'm going to take Joselo to score at any time at minus 110.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a really good play. Yeah, especially they'll probably give Guler the nod again. So I really like Joselu scoring here, actually.
Yeah. For our next game in La Liga, we have Girona and Barcelona facing off. Now, that one should be very interesting because we know that Girona is one of the most effective home teams in the league this season. They ran out of gas in the second half because they were in the title race, but then they just simply cooled off. But Barcelona has been dominant in this matchup with 8 wins out of 11 games.
Yeah, definitely. I think this year it's a little different as Girona won the first meeting 4-2. I see this being another high scoring game. Both teams have scored 68 and 69 goals this year, respectively. And this is basically the game for second place. So I expect both teams to have their best lineups out there. So I'm expecting both teams to find the back of the net. And I'm going to parlay that with over 2.5 for a pretty conservative price. But it's going to be minus 166. So that's what I'm going to be taking for this game.
Yeah, your pick is actually perfect for a double, as I like to put it in. Get the maximum value out of it with some other maybe high scoring game or easy money
Yeah.
line, quote unquote. But yeah, Barcelona defensively, they are one big mess. And with Cancelo playing on that left hand side, he's so bad, and he cost Barcelona. I would honestly say the Champions League semifinals, in my opinion, with that penalty he made but like I said, they have been very dominant in this matchup. So as you did in the EPL, I'm gonna go for a full swing in this one, and I'm gonna take both teams to score and Barcelona to win at plus 255.
Wow. I love it. Let's go.
There we go. And the last game in La Liga is between Mallorca and Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, the favorite at plus 110. They also cooled off in the second half of the season, got knocked out of the Champions League by Borussia Dortmund, but Mallorca, their form is very, very bad right now.
Yeah, Mallorca hasn't won a game in their last 5 games, and Atletico's still fighting for that final Champions League spot. Mallorca has basically out of the relegation zone as they're 6 points ahead. So I just see Atletico has a lot more to play for here. So at plus value, I'm just gonna back Atletico Madrid money line here. So that's pretty simple for me here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. We have to take this plus 110 whenever we can. They are the better team here, fighting for the Champions League spot, like you said. And we don't have to complicate things in this one. We are both going with Atletico Madrid on the money line. Now,
Yes.
in Bundesliga, Kirk, we also have a few great games on Saturday. We're going to start it off with Borussia Dortmund versus Augsburg. Augsburg, a very, very solid team. They definitely are capable of surprising teams, especially the big teams. And Borussia Dortmund, I do think we are going to see a B lineup here for them.
Yeah, definitely. I actually disagree with the B lineup. I think how well they played against PSG during the week. I think they want to keep that momentum going in. And can we just talk about Jaden Sancho for a second?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
absolutely.
He is something else. I think they will try to keep his momentum going. I mean, Dortmund did concede 4 last weekend against Leipzig. So I do like Augsburg to score, but I'm going to do both teams to score and Dortmund to win at plus 150 here.
You know what about Sancho? When you put his games side by side in Bundesliga and the Champions League, you can only see his effort in the Champions League, though. So I'm honestly not sure if Borussia Dortmund are too keen to keep him at that price, unless they get a huge, huge, huge discount from Manchester United. But at the moment, I think that United would rather have him back than let him stay in Dortmund for next season. But I don't know. I don't necessarily see a B lineup maybe, but definitely a few changes. Give a break to Adeyemi probably because he ran like horse in that left hand side against PSG, and then maybe even Mats Hummels. We know that he's definitely up there with the age, and he could definitely use a break ahead of that second Champions League game. But as far as my pick goes, I will go with Augsburg on the double chess here at minus 102. They do have a few injuries, but they're still a very solid team in a decent form. And Borussia Dortmund, like I said, I think that they might be a bit of a slow team in this game. That's my reasoning for my pick here. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I definitely, Augsburg has been one of the best teams since the restart. So they're definitely a good team to ride. I just think with the momentum that Dortmund needs to have going into Paris next week, I think that Dortmund's going to win it. But I don't mind. I could see this one going either way, honestly.
Stuttgart and Bayern, probably the biggest matchup of the weekend in Bundesliga, and I see that the goals are expected. As we see, over 2.5 is priced at minus 227. But then again, when pretty much every person in the world plays a game to over 2.5 or even over 3.5, those usually go under.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think there's way too much firepower in this game. Now with Girassi being back for Stuttgart, he seems to be getting his groove back. Undaz has been scoring a lot, and I mean Bayern, they just score a ton of goals. They scored 89 goals this year, averaging around 2.5, and Stuttgart averages around 2 to 2.25. So that's an expected of almost 4.5 for these two teams. And with Bayern, I think with them having a lot of injuries, I think they'll actually put out a B team. So I think their defense will look a lot different, and a lot of their guys will rest because they don't want to risk injury going into the Champions League game during the week. So I think actually here my play is over 3.5 goals at plus 102.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet here in this one. I know that the goals are expected, and I will take it as well. Uh, Stuttgart, I believe that they will end in the Champions League spot, and the last 10 games between these two teams have gone over 2.5, and I believe half of those went over 3.5. So uh, I don't think that Harry Kane will be rested. I think he will start the game and maybe got subbed off in 55th or 60th minute or something like that. And with that in mind, I'm gonna take over 1.5 goals in the first half at plus 105, and then we'll see if we get lucky enough if these two teams decide to show up and have a great outing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I hope it's a show.
Cole and Freiburg is the last game in Bundesliga that we have to talk about. Cole, they are in the relegation zone right now. They still have a bit of a chance to get to that playoff spot, relegation promotion playoff. But with the way they have been playing this season, I'm not sure how much hope we can have in this team.
Yeah, I don't have too much hope in them to be completely honest. And I love Freiburg. They were really good last year. They were competing for Champions League spot last year, and then they fell off a little. But they're competing with Hoffenheim right now for a Conference League spot, and they have a lot to play for, just like Köln. And at this price at plus 195 for Freiburg, I'm going to take them money line at plus 195. This is just too much value for me to pass up on here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We know that both teams need a win. Cole probably needs it more, but Freiburg is still even in the competition for the Europa League as well because Eintracht is only 5 points away right now. And with, I believe, 2 games left after this one, anything can happen. So I do like Freiburg on the money line. I also like over 2.5, which is going to be my pick at minus 133. But then again, if you combine Freiburg on the money line and over 2.5 goals, you're getting deep, deep plus money, and it's definitely worth a shot for like half a unit, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Off to the Italian Serie A, Kirk, where you have Monza and Lazio to start us off. Lazio seems to be improving quite a bit under the new head coach they hired about a month and a half ago. We know that they got some very nice wins, and they're also coming off of a nice win in Serie A as well.
Yeah, they really are. They've been playing really well, winning 4 of their last 5, and I expect them to win here, but that's not going to be my play. The last 3 meetings between these two teams have all gone under 2.5. Monza has not scored fairly much in the past 3 games, so I'm going to actually back under 2.5 goals here and go with the historical trend at the price of minus 116.
Yeah, you know what? If you are a new coach and you arrive to the club and you have to improve the team, the first thing you have to improve is the defense, right? That's exactly what Lazio is doing right now. You start off with the defense, you slowly move up the pitch, and they're not scoring a lot of goals right now. Let's be honest. They've scored what 4 goals in their last 3 games, and they are focusing more on defense rather than the offense, which is definitely good, and it's been serving them right because they are on a 4 game winning streak. Uh,
Yep.
you have the under 2.5. I don't think that's a bad pick at all, but I'm gonna go with Lazio on the money line. It's minus 122. It's gonna be a close game in my opinion, but I see Lazio coming out on top.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely think Lazio will win this one as well.
Now, Sassuolo and Inter, we know that Inter won the title last week against AC Milan when they beat them. While Sassuolo on the other side has basically dropped off the map and they're now in the 19th place, which is actually the relegation zone spot. And they haven't won any of their last 6 games. We know that this is a team that can score goals, that have been scoring goals for the last few seasons. They were quite solid, but right now they are missing Berardi because of the injury. Pedersen is out. Castillejo is out as well. They have a couple of suspensions as well, and I'm sorry to say, but Sassuolo might actually get relegated.
Yeah, I think they are going to get relegated. They're 5 points away from safety with 3 games remaining. I think this is just a terrible spot for them. Inter have only conceded 18 goals all year, scoring 81, which is just insane. Plus 63 in 34 games. I've just haven't really heard of that in recent times. So Inter doesn't really have that much to play for anymore. I think they'll keep playing their best lineup. So I'm actually going to back Inter minus 1.5 here for a price of plus 136. And I really like this play.
Yeah, you know what? In the 16 games on the road that Inter has played this season, they have 14 wins, 2 draws, 38 score goals, only 8 conceded goals, and 44 points. They are by far the best team on the road, by far the
Crazy.
best team at home, and overall, um, I don't think that anybody's close to them right now in the Italian Serie A. And if they can reinforce themselves for next season, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see them going even further in the Champions League and defend that Serie A title from this season. While Sassuolo, like you said, defensively, one big mess, conceding on average about 2 goals per game, and not scoring a lot. But I'm gonna put my faith in Sassuolo in this one. They need it. I hopefully they show up at least somewhat, and I'm gonna go with both teams to score at over 2.5 at minus 108.
Sounds good.
Before we move on to the parlay of the day, from each of us, we have 2 games in the French League One. Monaco and Clermont is the first one. We see Monaco being heavy favorites. They're fighting to stay in that Champions League spot. However, defensively, after keeping like 4 clean sheets in a row, they conceded what a bunch of goals against Lyon was it last week?
Yeah, they conceded 3 against Lyon last weekend, but I do think they're going to reverse the course here. They're playing last place, Claremont. Claremont scored 25 goals all year, and I thought the over under for this game would actually be 2.5, but it really is 3.5. I don't see this happening at all. I don't really see Claremont scoring, but I like the value more in under 3.5 goals here, with Monaco probably winning 2-0 or 3-0. So I'm going to take under 3.5 goals at minus 116.
Yeah, you know what? Monaco hasn't lost to Clermont in any of their last five home games, and like you said, they're definitely will be looking to bounce back after that loss to Lyon. They need it. They are fighting for the Champions League spot. They are the better team here by far, and Clermont, they are already relegated, so there's no hope for them at all this season. And with that in mind, I'm going to take Monaco -1.5 at -120. Hopefully, they get a nice, comfortable win, 2-0, maybe even 3-0.
Yeah, I definitely expect that.
Now, the last pick of the French League One is between Brest and Nantes. Brest is probably the nicest surprise of all the top five leagues in Europe. They're in third place right now, fighting with Monaco for that second place, trying to secure the Champions League spot. They had a banger of a game against Rennes last week, 5-4 it ended, and it was a magnificent win for them on the road. Now they need to keep it going against Nantes.
Yeah, I mean, so going back to that game, Brest has conceded only 33 goals. They conceded four last weekend. So take that away. They've conceded 29 goals in 30 games. That's insane. I've never really even thought about Brest before this year. So I think they'll keep this alive. They, as I was saying, they don't concede a lot. Nantes has only scored 29 goals all year. So I'm going to take both teams to score equals no for minus 128 here.
Yeah, and like you said, when playing at home, Brest has conceded only 13 goals in 15 games. So they are much more solid when playing at home defensively than on the road. And Nantes is a very mysterious team. They are all over the place. They can play good. They can beat the top team, and then they will lose to some, I don't know, unknown team nobody ever heard of. And that's why I'm simply gonna take Brest on the money line here at plus 105. I think that they are being underestimated here, in my opinion. Plus 105 on the team fighting for the Champions League against, I would say, below average team in the League One, such as Nantes. I'm gonna take
No,
advantage of that plus 105.
that's great value there. I agree.
Now we are up to the parlay of the day, Kirk, where we have each of us has a parlay. You have a three-legger, I have a four-leg parlay. Yours is a pretty big one at plus 968. So why don't you tell us what you have?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go all prem just for my first appearance on the show. First, I'm gonna have first half over 1.5 goals in the Sheffield versus Nottingham game. With Sheffield conceding 97 goals this year, I think this will just be a very high scoring game. As I was saying, they scored twice against Man U in the first half, so I think this will be a very lively game to start right away. So I'm backing over 1.5 in the first half. Second, I am taking under 3.5 in the City versus Wolves game. I think, as I was saying earlier, I don't think Wolves will really score here, and I don't expect City to put in more than three. So I'm going to take the under 3.5. And lastly, I am backing Alex Isak to score for Newcastle against Burnley. They came off 5 goals last weekend, and I expect them to get a win here, as I said earlier. So I'm backing their striker Isak to score in this one.
Absolutely amazing parlay there. I will definitely tail that. Plus 968, guys. I have a four-leg parlay here for Saturday. I will take Sheffield versus Nottingham Forest over 2.5 goals. I will take Atletico Madrid on the double chance against Mallorca in La Liga. I will take Wolfsburg on the money line in Bundesliga, and I will take Sassuolo versus Inter over 2.5 goals. And this four-leg parlay pays on at plus 366. Uh, well, Kirk, it's been very, very fun to record this video with you. We gave out a bunch of free picks. It's going to be exciting day, another busy one. There will be a video with the MLS picks as well up on the PickDawgz YouTube channel, guys. So make sure you check that out. Check out our premium picks. There's a link in the description for both of us. And of course, stay tuned for more free picks for Sunday. Kirk, once again, thank you for joining me here. Any last words?
Yeah, and now since we have two soccer guys over at PickDawgz, why don't you pair up a package with the both of us and get both of our picks for a discounted price? Why not?
Absolutely. And on top of that, you also do some other sports handicapping as well.
Yeah, I do basketball, do some hockey, and then come football season, I'll do a lot of football as well. So pretty well rounded. So pair me up with Goron, and as the Euros are coming, we're gonna have a lot more picks coming rolling into the summer.
Oh, absolutely. Euro Cup and Copa America basically at the same time. It's going to be very
Yeah.
exciting summer. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for your patience. Good luck with all of your bets. And of course, we'll see you soon with more free picks.